Has there been any kind of tough decision that you had to make, like pull out your story or change the headlines or something? Because
Times, many times, and it is heartbreaking actually.
covering the supplement, which city has been easy.
Don't think there's anything easy or difficult. Every story has its challenges.
It comes up to the newsroom. Compared to the normal hardcore news, to what you say, the entertainment newsroom. I just want you to understand, or I want you to tell the perspective of what goes in an entertainment newsroom.
In the newsroom,
Yeah.
chaos.
Welcome to Sambhashana's newsroom series where we are celebrating women in the newsroom. Today with us we have Kavya Christopher, a seasoned newsroom professional with over 25 years of experience in journalism and editorial leadership. Kavya has worked with DNA, Midday and the Asian Age, reporting on lifestyle, entertainment and city. Currently, Kavya is the editor South, Times of India, Metro Supplements, overseeing the editions across Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai and Kochi. Let us welcome Kavya to the Newsroom series. Welcome to the series where we are speaking about women in newsroom. It's such a pleasure to have you, and I'm meeting you after a long time, and it
Very long,
feels
yes.
so good to see you.
It's likewise. It's completely mutual. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me here.
Yeah, and I must say you're aging gracefully. Like you're going in reverse, and I'm like, it's been great to see you. It's
Thank
really
you.
nice.
I would blame that on my genes, but thank you.
Yeah. What we're going to do today, Kavya, is we're going to discuss your journey, the newsroom, and then being Bangalore is a city centric in terms of the lifestyle, the culture here, and then at the end we're going to have a fun, small, rapid kind round, and that's how the conversation is for today. Firstly, Times of India building, been there for such a long time. Was it very emotional when you all have to move out from that place?
God, it was extremely emotional. I think I was I almost cried. I loved my little, it was a very tiny cabin that I had in the middle, in a corner of the building with a nice window. I miss that. I miss that whole. There's warmth in that entire building that is. I don't think you can find anywhere else.
That was like a landmark for everyone. No?
Yes, and so convenient also. I mean, we step out and you have everything available, right? Church Street is there, Metro is there.
Yes.
Everything is right there, and irrespective of what your budget is, you will be able to go have your lunch or,
yeah.
anything out
Yes.
there. So, I'm very convenient for people to come and visit us also.
Yes. The other day in the night when we were just walking, we generally do that. I stood front of that building and I said Times of India building, and that for VPR people, we've come to that place and we kind of miss that place. Okay.
And years and years of it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, coming to the conversation today, Bangalore has been a kind of a landmark or a city where a lot of brands launch them, right? And over the years, Bangalore has rapidly changed in terms of the culture, the lifestyle, the nightlife, and everything. For you as a person and being a journalist for about 26 years, it's a long, like you worked with so many, publication. How do you see Bangalore changing so drastically? And with these traffic scenarios and everything, how does, when you think about Bangalore from a journalist perspective, what do you have to say?
I feel Bangalore is one of the cities which has been the most experimental one in that sense. You have space for all kinds of careers, all kinds of arts, all kinds of industries to grow and to do so well, and everybody kind of just like falls in place. They're all supportive. Like you look at anything from breweries and stand-up comedy, everything just kind of merges in Bangalore, and there seems to be space for everyone. Of course, there's so
Absolutely.
much of migration
Yes.
happening. Sometimes there are complaints, and we want Kannada to our culture to be there, but it is there also. Look at I think Bangalore Habba, which is going on now.
Yes, I just went to
Yeah.
Manganiyar
Yeah, that I
selection,
saw
yes.
the picture. It was really beautiful, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so so there is space for all this kind of culture. There is old Bangalore, there is a new version, there is all of it coinciding in such a way that it's almost magical. This is what we call our home, right? And
Yes.
it is, and we grow with it, and we can see everybody else also growing with it. So yeah, culturally and in every possible way of life, I see the city growing, being more open, and yet very rooted.
Right. Coming back to another point, the reason why I'm just giving this contest, I started my PR career with lifestyle big brands like Raymond Vale, Frederick Constant, Bombardier, or even I started with a film school where we did PR for this film institute. And moving from there, I interviewed for a hardcore tech PR agency, and they kind of looked at, oh, you've been into lifestyle for a long time. So coming back to the news per se, does covering lifestyle, get a little dismissed or some kind of a backseat when you have to just put this in the perspective of a newspaper or covering news or reporting news? Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay, we don't really focus on, say, conflict or politics in that sense. I mean,
Yes,
we're not
yes.
reporting that. But when you look at lifestyle, the stories that we write are very well researched. It is a reflection of what society is doing right now. You project what matters to society, the decisions that they're making. So when you look at films, for instance, you have stories that tell you, that kind of build a narrative around socially relevant topics. It could be things that will actually have an impact or showcase what is happening in politics for that thing. And celebrities who have their own voices, whatever they say, it makes a difference. It makes a cultural impact on what they say, in society. Your lifestyle of what you're spending on, it kind of tracks the economic growth of the country also. So it can be as serious as that. So I think what we are doing is maybe documenting how culture is changing, how society is changing, and these kind of what you see in the newspaper is going to be the material for people to make further, decisions, all your policies and
Yes,
everything.
yes.
So it is a cycle,
It-
and you
it
cannot
revolves
really
around. Yeah.
dismiss it as not important, because that is what people are reading.
Glad you gave that perspective. Okay. Now, when you're covering these kind of lifestyle news, or be it what you say, the culture and all, how do you kind of weigh the credibility when you publish it? Just wanted to understand from the journalistic lens, because though this is entertainment lifestyle, but there should be some kind of credibility. So, what is that which goes saying that this is a credible some kind of piece of a story that should go out?
I think your sense of credibility has to do with a lot of how you intend to put a story across. You do not do superficial interviews. Okay, so even if it is a film actor who you're interviewing, or a industrialist who you're interviewing. Okay, let's look at film actor only, a superstar that you're interviewing, as opposed to somebody who's just starting off, a grassroots level kind of actor. You cannot have them answer superficial, like over the thing kind of questions. You need to get them to speak about what really matters, the process, the industry realities, how it really works, and that is where your credibility comes in. Because you're addressing each one equally. It is not about, oh, you've done so much, but there is a story in every person. So you bring that in. And lifestyle wise also, why exactly are you writing? Why should the story go out?
Yes.
Is it a promotional thing? It should be a lot more than just promotional. Of course, they're there for visibility and all that, but it has to bring in some sort of a value, some sort of what I was talking about, this documentation of what is changing.
Right.
All of that has to be there, and that's where your credibility also comes in. It has to make a difference.
Okay. And there were times where when we newspapers were only the sources of what you say celebrities communicating, right, back in those
Yes.
days. So right now we wake up, you know, with news from a celebrity and it's already out there because of this what you say social media out there, and you know the celebrities are using this platform to communicating. But in terms of yours, how has this impacted your source of news or your publishing the news?
A lot actually.
I think I personally felt that entertainment as industry has been affected a lot through this, right?
100%.
Yeah.
There were times when as journalists in the beginning of our careers, we would be more concerned about, okay, who's broken the story?
Exactly.
What has this newspaper got? What has that publication got which we haven't got? Today it's not like that. Today you have information, it's instant information. Everything is out there even before, unfortunately, even before it is verified. You know,
Exactly.
that is where the issue comes in. So in this whole digital space, I mean, we do handle digital media also for Times of India, for our channels. You cannot, there is this tension of, you know, getting it out and also paying attention to what is true. Okay, so you have to verify, and your whole idea of fastest finger first really does not work as much if you don't bring in that kind of credibility.
When you just say, credibility in terms of now, for example, you get a lot of requests for what you say, a lot of interviews from celebrity, or I'm not talking about the culture aspect of it. Now we're looking at what has been very tough not to take in these requests.
Anything, we look at every request with an open mind, because again like I said, I believe that everybody has a story. So if a person wants to just be seen on the newspaper and says, okay, I've got a new photo shoot or something, and you know, I've signed a new movie and all, but it is not just that, because this aspect of it goes on social media anyway. So again, what are you bringing to the table? Figure out, sit down, find your story, ask the right questions, go deeper into the personality of the individual, and pay attention to what the reader will want to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Has there been any kind of tough decision that you had to make, like pull out your story or change the headlines or something, because someone would have just given something, you know, and have you done, where you been in that kind of situation?
Many times, and it is heartbreaking actually.
Yeah.
Because it comes with this whole sense of, you know, working on this idea of detachment. You would have worked so hard on that entire story, brought in the pictures, the content, the quotes, presented it visually in a certain way, but you will probably have to take it down, pull it out basically from the page for various reasons. Again, it could be maybe factually not aligning somewhere, your perspective is not falling in place somewhere, you need more time, or a headline is just not working, or it's working really great, but you want to make that impact, but it might mislead people.
Yes.
So those are things that you have to like step back and not really say that, oh, this is how I want to put it out. You have to still think of the reader, always. So there are decisions like that. You have to pull it out and it's another day.
You have covered what you say supplements across all the south editions like Kochi, Chennai, Hyderabad. So which is the city, including Bangalore, which is the city which you kind of feel that they give you the best kind of lifestyle stories, including culture and everything? Is it very difficult to say?
There's no best one. All of them have their own charm, so as to say that. Let's start with Kochi, because I stayed there physically for a year.
Now Biennale is going
yes.
right now. Okay.
I feel Kochi is very progressive in the way they tell their stories.
Yes.
In terms of films and lifestyle and art and literature, architecture, everything actually. They're very progressive, and they're very, in their own. They're connected like that. I don't know. I'm not looking. I'm not getting the right word for it, but it's like it's a warm, close entity which is growing on its own.
And they are also very close knit in terms of the culture. Also, they even in the community wise also that community is a very close knit community.
And look at their films also. If anybody in North India also will probably know a Malayalam film.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
Okay, but they may not know so many others. But of course, each city again has its own charm. Chennai is again a lot more rooted in their tradition.
Yes.
It's culture, it's their music, it's their literature, all of that. And Hyderabad is, I find it more ambitious. They are also culturally rooted, but they also very progressive in a different sense. They are financially larger than life. They look at things larger than life, but they also keep the heritage most, protected. They take pride in it. Bangalore again, my most. This is home again. Very fun, very experimental, very open, and very easy. I feel.
What has been, which city, covering the supplement, which city has been easy? There's nothing kind of, it kind of comes at ease, or it has its own challenges with every supplement?
I don't think there's anything easy or difficult. Every story has its challenges.
Okay.
Because in each story, irrespective of where you are, you have to pay attention to what you want to bring to the table. Bring out the essence of that story so that you can tell what exactly is happening in a different way.
Covering all these 4 cities parallelly, I know it's how difficult it is. Is it challenging? Because humanly I feel it's a little difficult. No, but how do you manage?
I am lucky to have very, very able people in the teams. We have different people handling the day-to-day editions over there, which is great. But it's everything. Yeah, it is challenging. It is exciting. It keeps me going. It keeps me motivated, and what next every single day. So I love it.
Great. When it comes up to the newsroom, compared to the normal hardcore news, the entertainment newsroom, I want you to tell the perspective of what goes in an entertainment newsroom.
In the newsroom?
Yeah.
Chaos.
Okay.
Especially closer to the deadline, you're like, trying constantly to improve a headline, improve this, improve that, meet that deadline. So there's a lot of energy. I love that. And there's a sense of immediacy, spontaneity. You have to do your best in that little time. Of course, your stories are well researched, all that, design and everything, but you still have this, interesting aspect that's coming. How do you make that even better? So yes, the newsroom, any newsroom is like that. It's full of energy.
Irrespective of whichever beat,
yes.
yeah.
The difference that I can probably tell you in the entertainment journalism thing is that, you look at the edition now of any entertainment newspaper, you will have a film review, you will have a celebrity interview, you will have a well-researched feature story, you will have a cultural event written about, all of them existing side by side. And to put everything together as like a interesting platter is what you're doing there, magic.
Right. Moving on, just another thing, you've been shaping a lot of narratives in terms of lifestyle and entertainment and everything. Was there been any story which has been very challenging, or any celebrities which been kind of, without taking names you could, but then I know you have a good relationship with all of them, or any story which has really felt that this is good and like it has taken me a little, or it has boosted your morale or something, just wanted to understand your stories.
You're asking me to choose between my babies.
Anything. I think I just wanted to know what has been rewarding and what went, few stories. Sometimes it might go well and sometimes it may not go. Maybe any examples that you could share with us, it would be great.
I think any of the stories that I have done or worked on, maybe somebody else's story also and worked on and put together, that kind of really reflects change or reflects an essence of a solid essence of the person or the activity that is coming forth, which can excite me as a reader. I love those. I mean, that gives me a high.
Okay.
To have put together an excellent package, and that you've done your best. Okay, those kind of stories really excite me, and I can't really pinpoint one specifically, but if you're looking at celebrities also, I think their stories, interviews, you meet celebrities over the years again and again at different stages of their career as well as your career. You will find that each time the story is still different.
Yes.
The narrative is different because from then to now you have changed as a person, they have changed as a person. There are so many more experiences and so much more perspective that comes onto this story, which again is very exciting to be able to present that. So so each of these things, I mean, the only difference from back then till now is definitely the accessibility. Luckily I do have and the intent also, whether they want to be seen in a certain way or not. So luckily I do have I share a good rapport with most people, and if they cannot do that, they will actually pick up the phone and explain to me why.
Okay.
This is not going to happen, because there are various reasons why their marketing, agenda, their plan and everything. If it is coinciding, they will let me know, and that is a great thing, because if they let me know, then I can also figure out a way to work around it, yes. And then come up with something even better.
I have been following you, and you are connected to so many celebrities. I don't know if I can ask you, what is the celebrity more easy to work around with when you go for an interview, or am I putting you in a spot to ask you to name some?
I don't think I should name anybody.
Okay, all right.
But most people are very easy.
Okay.
We're all human beings, and
yes.
they are that too, and you need to be able to connect to people at a very ground level. No headway, no unnecessary drama. Keep it honest, and they like doing that as well. So
that matter, this A.R. Rahman's interview which has come out, initially one side of the story only came out, the kind of comments that he made, and then when I was just reading, the other truth is where this BBC journalist kind of kept pushing him to make those kind of comments.
Right.
Just your thoughts on that?
That is again your whole digital space, right? So you are waiting for anything that will go viral. So you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Again, your credibility again goes down over there. The headline that I was talking to you about, it might make the right impact, but is it misleading or not?
Right.
That credibility, that onus comes on the editor, and the target, the intent of the digital space is also so different. They want those likes, they want those shares, they want the virality that goes with it. So that is why you will see journalists pushing for something that really works, anything that really works.
It's sad whatever just happened.
It is sad.
Right?
It is sad because I don't think there was any intention for him to veer his conversation into something so that would affect his entire career and the way he's looked at also.
Right.
So much of discussion came through.
What are your views about this? I think it's a very lame question, but all these paps just go behind. I know, but I just thought, let me just ask your views about this.
The first few times that I came across this entire thing was in Bombay when many years back, and I think it was a event.
Is it really PR driven? That is also PR driven?
It's both. It's both. Like the Salman Khan event that was there, he doesn't need PAPs.
Yeah.
Okay, he is not even bothered about things like that. But that was the first time I saw a room, like a hotel, a lobby, filled with, I think, maybe 300 cameras, just trying to get one shot of this star walking in. So I think it starts from there, and then You could connect it to page 3, the whole aspect of page 3 that we used to have a long time back, where you would be seen
Yes.
the who's who of the city are seen on that page.
Yes.
Now, after a point, we had MediaNet, where you could pay your way through to be seen on that page. So that kind of deflects the whole idea of what the page actually is about. You know, it pulls it down, and that's probably what is happening here now as well. Because if you're paying your way through to make yourself seen as a popular personality, people see through it, but people are still consuming it.
Right, right. And any news, anything related to celebrity, it's consumable,
Yeah.
right? People read through it,
Yeah.
go through it,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah, understand. And now you've been mentoring a lot of youngsters. I'm like, so just wanted to understand how difficult or how challenging it is when you kind of mentor the younger generation coming into force, and a lot of inhibitions are attached to working with younger generation, right? So how has it been that when you train and work these younger generation?
I would say it's getting more and more challenging every day. When I started out, I started at Asian Age. My first interview, job interview, was with my editor Tushita Patel. I had come with a little bit of background in college. I had run a newsletter in my locality,
Yes,
so
yes.
There was a sense of some sort of achievement that, you know, I've done this for 3 years.
I wanted to
Okay.
ask you even started the
I
newsletter,
started that,
right?
yes. I mean, I was bored one summer holidays and I started this and it went well and
Okay.
everything. And so you come with that kind of, you know, a sense of achievement, I would say. But the first day, the first time that I met Mr. Shita Patel, she looked at that edition. Somebody had brought it to her, and then she had called me in for this interview. You know, it came to anyway, so she had that edition in front of her. I had not taken it with me. She already had it, and then she's like, I just glanced at this edition and I can spot 3 mistakes.
Oh.
What kind of an editor are you? But you don't take that personally. You know, you take that with the as feedback, with
Yes,
as
yes.
constructive feedback.
Yes.
You take it to figure out, okay, what exactly is it and how could I have made it better, and grow from there. Now that is a very difficult thing to do today.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there have been many. I mean, we've been taught in journalism in a very different way. It's not good. You'll just editors have torn pages in front of your face and thrown in.
Even for us also, for that matter, good that we are discussing. I think you and me, I have also started PR from a very long time, and
Yeah.
you have also been there. In our time, I'm writing a press release, even a headline. I'm like, I have written a press release no matter how many times. We have seen versions of it, right?
Yeah.
But right now with this AI also coming in, it's just there. I think now the times are very blessed,
Yes.
right?
Blessed and difficult, because you don't know. You have this whole issue of, you know, managing giving feedback without affecting their mental health.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, without affecting ego, keeping in mind the insecurities that they come with. All of that, it's really difficult, and I feel people should be a little more open to feedback. It's not criticism of themselves as
It is
people.
it's just
It
the
is
work.
that work.
Yes.
And if you can teach them to separate the two, this is your work and this is your personality. It has nothing to do with this.
Oh God, I understand where it is. Coming back, see, I think this whole goes for both PR and
Any workspace, yes.
I
It's
think-
very difficult to for this generation. I think, I don't know if it is this generation or previous, or it's people. I think it's just getting more and more.
And also, when I'm talking about PR in term, those days there are many times I've come and met you. We've come with press releases. We've made media rounds. I think that concept of media rounds is also just not there
It's
right
on
now.
phone, it's on WhatsApp,
Do you even people do even kind of come and meet you as often as how it used to be those days?
There are some people who
There
still,
are.
yes.
That culture is still there,
It's
kind
still
of.
there, yes.
What kind of PR requests that you get right now in terms of PRs handling
Lifestyle related, yes, definitely.
No, when I just say PR request in terms of when it comes up to celebrities saying, can you just do this or whatever it is in terms of
Interestingly, celebrities will come through film productions.
film production.
Okay, so they will only be concerned about, madam, ee song ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ social media ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
Oh, wow.
ಇದು
Okay.
ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಈ ಪೋಸ್ಟರ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡಿ. Sorry, should I just
Yeah,
stick to
no
it?
worries, no worries. It's okay.
So those kind of things still go on social media,
Yeah.
which we have no issues with because again it's digitally, that is what works on the digital space. But whether it translates to print is a different story. Now PR professionals come with the whole idea of bringing in visibility for their client. But does it really work to just be visible, or will you bring in some sense of observation, some sense of story to tell an idea, a conversation? Then we can take it forward. So if you plan it like that, maybe it will work better for even the client and for everybody involved.
When it comes up to PR bringing in stories or any celebrities bringing in stories, there are some celebrities who do their own PR as well, right? What is a strict no? These kind of stories can go into, I will take these and these are the stories that I will not take in. Is there some kind of news that you kind of filter it, understand?
It will depend on the publication's rules as well, policies as well. Outright promotions we try and avoid, definitely, unless it comes through the
Anything
right
promotional,
channels. It's not anything promotional. Again, it's not like a straight rule book that is there. So say, how do I'll give you an example. Netflix is a brand. We don't say this show is coming out on Netflix, watch it.
Okay.
That is a promotion. Okay, the company will probably have to pay for that kind of space. But when platforms, OTT platforms, are not buying films for whatever reason, you cannot say one OTT channel has refused to do this. It is a trend. It is news. It is what people are talking about. It is impacting the industry overall. So those are stories again that has a story, and that will come in.
Okay.
We have to, it is our job to put that across and make that observation and give it to readers for consumption.
Personally for you, is there any kind of, these are the stories, but every journalist will have their things, right? I will not do this, I will not, there are certain stories that I will not write about, but for you, is there something that
Nothing like that. As long as it's ethically right, I have no issues.
Okay, all
if
right.
it is wrong, then it is wrong, irrespective of who, what, where, when.
Is there any kind of very weird request from PR people that you've received so far?
I wouldn't call it weird. Not really. No, nothing weird. Okay, maybe one long time back. There was a producer, a film producer. This is the beginning of my career where I just started writing about Kannada films and personalities in the industry. This person met me at a coffee shop and not in the office. Okay, he invited me to a coffee shop close by MG Road. And he explained to me that a journalist is as much a part of a film unit as anybody else in that film unit, like say the director, the camera person, the technician, anybody, because we have a role to play in the promotion of the film. So
Yes.
therefore I want to offer you your salary for this film, which
Okay.
was 50,000 at that time.
Wow, it's big monies.
But you don't do that. So that is one thing that you don't do.
Okay.
So that was one of the strangest experiences back then.
According to you, which celebrity? Maybe you said like that most of the celebrities PR happen through production house. But according to you, is there any celebrities who really have very good PR set up for them, or they are very good in their brand building image?
100%. I think that kind of planning comes from themselves first.
Yeah.
They choose the right people.
Who according? I just wanted to
Look at Yash.
Huh?
You look at Yash.
Yes, yes.
Look at his brand. Look at
Yeah.
the image that he has built for himself over the years. There's, I don't think. I mean, his sense right now. His sense of exclusivity is what is working for him.
Yes. I think KGF has worked for him, no? I think, or much, I think with through KGF.
Yes, over the years, he's
Over the
really
years.
worked hard on, and I think he's had this really clear thought process on what he wants to do and where he wants to be and how he will get there.
All right. When a PR professional, when they're handling, PR for the celebrities, is there some kind of tips that you would want to share, to the fraternities, that these are the things that you keep in mind when you're doing PR for celebrities? Does even politician PR also come in lifestyle? Not
really,
much
no,
of it. Okay.
But yes, there has been some requests for politicians and people in the service to be featured. But it's, again, we look at it in a way where it actually makes a difference to a reader. One example comes to mind, but I think I shouldn't really pick a name. But their lifestyle basically is a topic of conversation most of the time, because they are also celebrities in their own right, in their
Yes,
field.
yeah.
So yes, there have been, and I think we are consistently trying to merge this, gap. To bring them on to the entertainment and lifestyle pages, because they are bringing in that kind of value. They're bringing in that kind of, what people want to hear is what we are trying
Maybe
to bring.
their lifestyle becomes a
It's
kind
the lifestyle. It's the
Yeah.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
definitely. For people, PR managing celebrities, everything is not a story. That's the only thing that I want
I'm
to
going to put
tell
this.
you. Okay, so you have to think about it. Think about what really you can bring to the table. Bring an aspect of the person to be highlighted, and any journalist will pick it up then.
Great. Is there anything else that you would want to, as we're coming to the end, is there anything else that you would want to share with us? Anything that you would like to share with us, or some kind of little more tips, for the budding journalist or budding PR people who come into the profession?
For journalists, I feel it is important to ask questions, not just to in an interview that they go, or an event that they go to cover, but ask yourself the question: are you doing what you need to do and your best for this story? And if there is some other way, if there is another way that your story is edited in a certain way, you ask yourself why this is better.
Why you're doing what you're doing?
Why? What was the change? Like, say I've written a story and my editor has corrected it or changed it around. What is it in that story that has made it better? You ask yourself that question, and it'll help you grow as in your career. I think that works best with PR people, or any workspace for that matter. Ask yourself where you're going wrong and build on that. I think a lot comes with self-motivation. People can teach you, people can say this is how you do these things and this is the process and everything, but if you're not self-motivated, you will not realize, or you will not understand the intent behind that learning, behind that lesson.
Yes.
Yeah, so it has to be a lot more self-motivation, and don't worry about where you're going eventually. You will get there, but if you're not growing day to day and improving every single day, then there's a little bit of stagnation, and then later, after a couple of years, you go back and say, okay, why am I still in the same position? I'm not doing anything new.
Right.
You are to blame.
I mean, that's a great takeaways from you, Kavya. Moving on to a very fun rapid fire. I have
Please, I'm
5
really
questions. No. These are very, the reason why I'm, coining this as fun rapid fire, it's very chilled out kind of a questions. Okay, so can we begin?
Yes.
Yeah. The first one, if your newsroom were a movie set, who would be the hero, director and a villain? I said it's fun,
set.
right? Yeah.
I I think it would be Rajvi Shetty.
Wow. Okay. As a actor.
As the main actor, like the
Okay.
editor or something.
Okay. All right.
Heroine, I don't see. I mean, it's a gender fluid space.
Okay.
you
The
know.
villain, you tell me. Who would you want
Villain.
to?
Actually, I would look at Sudeep as the villain. He did really well in Eega, right? So,
Yes.
So
That,
that twist, I think, would be
wow.
really good.
That's a nice one. Moving on. What's more dramatic, a newsroom or a film climax?
Tough one. Some film climaxes don't match up to the newsroom drama.
Okay. Who's harder to edit, the reporters or the rock stars back home?
Stars back home.
Yeah, you have a musician husband and your daughter is
No, reporters. My
Reporter.
family is very chilled out.
If you had to pick Bollywood, Sandalwood, or Tollywood, which industry gives you the most juiciest stories? Bollywood. Yeah. Other than lifestyle, is there any beat that you would want to work?
I'll probably look at writing,
Okay. Any specific beat which might interest you?
Stories. I love stories. I love people's stories. I love listening to experiences and putting that out. And that really keeps me going. I think writing.
Here we come to the end of our rapid fire. Thank you so much. It's
Thank
been absolute pleasure, Kavya, and I truly enjoyed talking to you and with the conversation we are having.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.